Coming to you from the Back Alley Comedy Club Auxiliary Studio, it's the Eric Zane Show podcast. You got a few more things in the background if you're watching this. You got ladders and whatnot. It's almost like this room now is being taken over by construction. What's happening as we speak? Painter by the name of Mike Lees is painting the studio right now. We had to get that room empty. So everything, kind of like taken out of there, that winds up in here. Just another day in getting this whole thing off the ground. My gosh, I'm so excited that guy's in there painting. I started out today with an effort of trying to get the wood for the wood wall. Now, there's like an accent wall made of wood that I believe Tom and Kent and those guys are going to actually put that on the wall. And the wood is coming from pallets. And I have a whole bunch of these pallets that were dropped off by another really nice person. I'm terrible. I need more names here to give everybody credit. Anyway, so I decided I was going to break up those pallets because the wood that goes across them is what we use for it. Well, it took me like 15 minutes to get one little slat off from a pallet. I was just using a hammer. I didn't have like a pry bar or anything. Well, I'm going to go get a pry bar. Well, I went and got a pry bar. I come back. And then it took me 14 minutes to get the next one off. And it's all like, it's splitting. The nails are so rusted into it that they're like, the wood splits before the nail comes off. So, I've got a trick up my sleeve. And this might involve the loss of all of my fingers. Because I have a saw. An electric saw. Or a lithium battery saw. I've said three things. I've said saw, electric saw, and lithium battery saw. I don't even know what the hell a damn thing is. Anyway, the saw is key. I'm just waiting for the battery to charge on it, and then I'm going to go cut my hand off. Okay? And then after I cut my hand off, I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to set it right down on this table, and then I'll be like Jack Nicholson in that movie. Ah, oh, damn it, I did it again. I don't even know what movie I'm referencing. No Country for Old Saints? No. That kid's screaming. Kid's been screaming all day. Did you hear that? What was that movie? It had every star. It had DiCaprio and Damon and Nicholson. And he was like playing this mob guy. Oh, Jesus, what was it? Oh, it's going to be bothering me for hours on end. I hate it when I do that. All right. This house is an infirmary. Let me just tell you. We are at a new level of grossness. Stand by. Oh, God. Now, to be fair, I have essentially turned the corner. I'm probably at about 56% of my capacity right now. And, but the others in this house are in deep, dire straits. First of all, with me, when it comes to me, like, as I've been trying to get better, it was Monday of last week when I started to feel bad. Well, Wednesday, the Griffins game, it was just miserable. I told you that story. Games Friday and Saturday of this week. I couldn't sustain it. Like if I'm doing the intro you have to introduce the team and then 5 starters and a goalie, so 6 starters. And I would start out like with the first 2 players with enough intensity, and then you would actually hear it physically like peter out. Just it was so bad. And then we had to rewrite the script so that I wasn't talking so much because I was just getting zapped. And one of the sports writers reached out, Pete Walder, and he goes, "You sound terrible." And I'm like, "I know it. I actually feel better than what I did, but it just sounded bad." So, all right, we got through that. Now, my wife starts getting sick, and she described it as, I have never felt this way in my life. I go, tell me about it. This is a bad one. Now, at this point, Jim has been on the couch for like 3 days. Now, I know he's hurting because he didn't change his shirt in 3 days. And that was a big indicator that he doesn't care about anything. And he's just laying on the couch, and he was just dead to the world. Same damn deal. He finally caved and went to the doctor today. And they said, you have the flu. Now, this is a long, sustained flu. This is not a short gastroenteritis thing. This is the big one. And it's just been ripping this house apart. And it's hanging on. So they're all fighting it. And so that's all happening. You got the kids here. They're probably harboring the whole... They're probably like ground zero, the kids. The coughing was so bad again that I ripped that muscle again. The only gets hurt when you cough muscle. And I'm popping all sorts of pills. Not like oxycodone or opiates or anything like that, but all these cold medicines and ibuprofen, I'm just eating them like candy. Then, so yesterday we're driving around, we get a phone call. Madison's at one of these 8-hour-long gymnastics tournaments over at Caledonia, and we didn't go to this one because it was, no joke, 39 teams. It was like an 8-hour thing, and she goes, it's, don't even bother, don't even worry about it. We go, thank God. I don't have to sit through that thing, all these cheer parents, jeez. Oh, we get a phone call. Madison hurts her wrist. She hurt her hand. What happened? Well, she was doing a back tuck. It's when you just stand in one place and you jump and you flip in the air and you land on your feet. Except she didn't nail it and she put her hand down, and she's in a lot of pain, and she says it's broken. Madison said she broke her hand. And they're like, okay. And they said, all right, yeah, you should come and get her. So I immediately headed over to there. And now here's the thing. This high school, I love them. But every time one of my kids gets hurt, the trainer is not a doctor. The trainer is a trainer. And the trainer always offers their opinion as to what is the matter. And the 2 times that have been bone or tissue injuries like this, they've been completely wrong. So I didn't trust them going in because they said that Jackie, oh yeah, she twisted her knee back, 5 years ago, and in fact she destroyed her ACL. It's gone. Not like I was going to go on their judgment anyway, but I never listened to the trainer. Trainer goes, oh yeah, I don't think it's broke. Just have her ice it. And I go, okay, yeah, sure, thanks, buddy. And we drove immediately to the hospital, and I knew the second I laid eyes on her that it was broken because of the pain she was in and how much care she was taking that it wasn't moving, that she couldn't, so that it wouldn't move, and any movement, it was just causing her pain. So I said to her, of your hand, you have your thumb, 1, 2, your third metacarpal, if you're on the video, is your middle finger hand bone. 4th is your ring finger. 5th metacarpal is your pinky. I said, I'll bet you broke your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th metacarpals. And I said, there's no doubt you broke it, though. Of course, we went to the Zealand Hospital on Felch Street. I love that. It's on Felch Street. Some of you don't even know what that means or why that's funny, but look it up. And they took an x-ray, and sure enough, 2nd and 3rd. 3rd and 4th metacarpal broke. 5th survived. So that was that. Broken hand. She's bottling. Just in time. You know what? It's interesting because, boy, today is we are getting our money's worth on the Cumulus insurance. Let me see here. This is recorded on the 27th. I'm hoping we can get in to see that orthopedic before the 31st because that is still on the old insurance. No, but then again, that old insurance, holy crap. What a screw job that was. Man. Oh, yeah, all you'll pay out of pocket each year is $350,000. God, I'd rather be dead. Excuse me. So, yeah, a lot going on with the walking wounded in our house. Excuse me, stand by. Hang on. You folks in the video, you're going to get this, but I don't care. No cough button. It's tough. Sorry. I'm battling. God. Can we talk about the weather? Oh, I'm saving that. Okay, Patreon bonus podcast. We talk about the impending Arctic doom that is coming here. Holy crap. I had a little time to watch the first episode of the Ted Bundy documentary. Ted Bundy documentary on Netflix about this maniac who killed dozens of women in the 1970s. I did not know a lot about Bundy. I remember in 1989 when he was put to death, but his reign of terror and all of the craziness that went on leading up to him finally being convicted and put on death row. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about the escapes. I didn't realize this guy had escaped more than once from custody. And during the escapes, he murdered. He would escape and then go kill people. And it seemed like a clown show when it came to trying to keep this guy locked up. But he was a slippery, devilish fiend, Ted Bundy was. I mean, one of the things I was reading about Ted Bundy, the serial killer, is how easily he could change his appearance. Ted Bundy, if he knew he needed to evade detection, would hold an expression on his face to make his face look a certain way. What I mean by that is he might grin or raise his eyebrows and leave it that way so that you almost get used to how this guy looks a certain way. And then when he would change his facial muscles or whatever, he could change his expression to actually look like a different person without like dyeing his hair or changing his clothes. It's remarkable. The judge actually described, one of the judges presided in one of the cases, he says, you have an uncanny ability to change your appearance. I don't know how you do it, but that was part of what this guy did. And his ability to get women to do what he wanted by just, in broad daylight, the ruses and the things that he would do, the scams to get women to, I don't know, help him put something into his car or something like that. Jeez, this thing on Netflix, without spoiling it, is the story of how one young reporter at the time, was granted access to interview Bundy. The reporter was getting nowhere with Bundy, who just wanted to talk about, like, his childhood. This guy wants to hear Bundy talk about the women he killed. Bundy's not giving him anything. This guy finally comes up with a brilliant way to get this kook to talk. And boy, does he! You gotta see this, man. If you like true crime like I do, holy crap, it's worth it. Jeez. Something else that I know is worth it that I gotta bite the bullet on is not Netflix. I just told you that I had that, idiot. Is HBO. I had HBO for the longest time, and then I gave up on it. But now with Game of Thrones coming back, and somebody else, I think it was Charette, said, "Hey man, you got to watch True Detective because I loved the first one. Second one was one of the worst pieces of garbage I've ever seen in my life. Third one is supposedly good again. I don't know. But for those reasons alone, but I saw something else that's worth watching. There's a show that I've watched many, many times known as Real Sports. And it's kind of got that documentary feel of interesting stories, not exactly about sports, but just the stories that surround sports a lot of the times. And one of the things they just recently featured was a piece on a guy who covers the NFL by the name of Adam Schefter. I think I'm saying his name right. Yeah, Adam Schefter. And I've followed him from time to time. He's very knowledgeable, and over the years, he's become incredibly popular. And there's a story that just came out on awfulannouncing.com about the piece on Schefter, and it includes a clip from the HBO show. And in fact, let me start with that. This is from the HBO show that I was talking to you about. I just remembered it. Real Sports. That's it. Jesus, I'm falling apart, man. Okay, listen. Adam Schefter.
There are few things in life more satisfying than getting a big story. It's like a drug. You become addicted to it.
You've got more than 7 million people following you on Twitter.
The way I view it is it's a serious responsibility when there's that many people viewing it, and there's that many people waiting for you to fall off the high wire.
Like the time he reported that former Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo was injured and out for the season.
ESPN treats it like Armageddon. Wall-to-wall coverage for an hour. Everyone coming on. Special shows. An hour straight of Tony Romo's back.
There was only one problem. Tony Romo's coach was telling a different story.
Call my boss. Tell him Jason Garrett's going to have a press conference. Jason Garrett steps to the podium, and they say, "How's Tony Romo?" And he goes, "Day to day, we'll see."
Uh-oh.
My boss calls me. "You get the story right?" "Oh, yeah, I got the story right." "You sure?" "Yeah." Goes on all week long. I've got reporters at my own network emailing. "You might want to back down off that story. You know, you might want to hedge. And that Friday afternoon, my phone started blowing up. He didn't play again that season. It was everything we said on that
Oh,
Monday.
thank God.
And there's a certain sense of satisfaction that comes along in the end when basically you're acquitted.
Wow. That's awesome. But in this article, they talked about how the Green Bay Packers, they just recently fired their coach and they hired a new one. And this article talks about Adam Schefter was the first to inform new coach Matt LaFleur that he'd gotten the job. Now think about that. Matt LaFleur is trying to get the job as the Packers' new coach. Adam Schefter knows he got it and calls him up. He revealed this on the show. Here's the exchange about LaFleur between Schefter and Real Sports correspondent John Frankel, extracted from a screener provided by HBO. "Have you ever called a guy and been the first to tell him that he's out of a job or he's gotten a job?" Schefter: "Yeah, it happened last week. I called the Packers head coach Matt LaFleur the day he was hired, and I said, 'Matt, I just wanted to confirm that you're taking the Packers head coaching job.' And he said, 'I don't know what you're talking about.'" Schefter says, "Have you gotten a call yet that you've been eliminated?" LaFleur says, "No." Schefter said, "Well, I know that they called everyone else and eliminated them. So, by process of elimination, congratulations, you're the head coach of the Green Bay Packers." The article says that's pretty remarkable, but it helps to show the amount of information Schefter has when it comes to transactional NFL reporting. And then they talk about the clip that we just played. The full segment is well worth a watch. I love that stuff, man. That to me is what's interesting. A lot of times stories like this is more interesting than the actual games. It is at about this time that we must make a phone call. Talk to someone who's been dying to get on this show for some time. Why, I don't know. And a lot of people love this guy. Let's bring in this guy. Sorry. Oh.
Hey, Eric.
Solomon,
Yes, what's up?
how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
No complaints, Sol. Well, I have complaints, but it doesn't help to complain, you know. So, yeah, look, buddy, I'm so glad you were able to join us. A lot of people have asked about you, and I know you've been hearing that, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I know that a lot of people. I know that a lot of people have been wanting to hear from me.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a lot of people have been looking forward to hearing from you and wanting to hear your voice on the podcast. So I figured now's as good a time as any to have you along. You know.
Yeah. Well, nobody really told me directly that they wanted to hear from me.
Yeah.
But I got the vibe that since I haven't participated in a while, I probably should get on that.
Oh yeah. You know, and basically it was like, you know, I've heard from a lot of different people who would call the show regularly. Throat/Dale wants to get on, and I'm kind of just picking them off one at a time as we kind of get settled here on this podcast. But how are you, Saul? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how you've been doing.
Oh well, I've been doing the same as I always have been. I've been going to school and going to work and just living life as anybody would be.
Okay, now Saul, for people who don't know, you became a fan of the show. Was it Free Beer and Hot Wings days, or was it on BBL that you learned of the whole Eric Zane thing?
No, I actually heard of you from the FBHW days.
Okay.
And then I didn't know what you were doing, so I Googled your name and I found all these YouTube videos.
All right.
So I just started binge watching them on Saturday night, and I stayed up really late, and then I subscribed to your channel, and then the rest is history.
Okay, and we've become like buddies ever since then.
Yep.
All right. Well, Saul, you know, I'm really glad you were able to join us. As we get started, I mean, what do you think so far, Saul? I mean, give me the good, the bad, and the ugly of this thing that we're doing now, 16 episodes in.
Well, I think that this is a really how should I put this? A really snazzy platform you got. I mean, you got a wide open, non-commercial platform where you can basically say anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody dictates what you need to say. I mean, it's pretty snazzy. I mean, you've got some great cooked up here, and I think everybody's been very receptive to it, and I think it's only going to grow. So, kudos to you and your Chef of One.
No, thank you. That's very kind, because I'm glad that you acknowledge the freedom. I think that's the biggest thing about it, Saul. It isn't so, you know, to be honest with you, when I started, I did 15, 16 podcasts ago, even probably for the first 10, I honestly didn't know like how to approach this or anything like that. And you may have noticed like it might have been a little bit more raw and things like that. And I still let it fly a little more on the Patreon bonus, but frankly, to me, the most enticing thing about it is, you know, I can talk to the people that I want to talk to, you, Kenny, comics, anybody walking through the halls of this house. And by God, everybody's got something interesting. And if I did that on the radio, you know, I'd have somebody kicking down the door saying, "What are you doing?" And now we don't have to worry about that. So I really like it. It's a different vibe. Yes, it's a way to get your name out there and make a living. But at the same time, it's all about just communicating and telling stories, right?
Yeah, and it's really, you can get real personal. You can just talk about, like, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You're going to have a phone line, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, dude, we're still... I haven't even begun to buy the appropriate equipment. But yeah, I'm going to have it all set up. It'll be like a radio station, Saul, to be honest with you. And yeah, I'll have all the appropriate equipment that goes with it. Just to be in front of people right now with this very meager setup has done a wondrous thing, though. Just to be like, hey, get in front of them, get your voice to their ears. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter if you do it talking into your phone. Doesn't matter if you do it on a really elaborate setup. Just as long as you're there providing something for them. So that's what we're hoping to do early, you know.
Sounds great.
So, oh, I'm sorry. I spoke when you were speaking. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, it's I think the fact that you launched it so quickly, and the fact that people in the Facebook group were like, I'm willing to do this if things go under, is a testament to what the influence and the power that you got from your syndication days and everything else.
You know what? Frankly, Saul, that's true. But however, the way the Zaniacs and the way the audience in general, really, okay. If you when I got fired the first time, there was all these people that were writing in and making comments and signing petitions, and you see a huge swell of support. And when that big number gets in front of you of the people that are supporting you, that's when these notions start to kick around in a person's head about, hey, I wonder if I could do this or do this. So I guess my point is, if it had not been for people just writing an email saying, you got this, to other people volunteering time and energy and skills and things like that, all of those things contribute to actually putting a product out. Because I wouldn't have had the confidence to do this in any way, and sometimes I still don't, if people hadn't come out and encouraged me to do that. So I thank you and people like you is what it all boils down. At least from my standpoint. I mean, I want to give the credit back to you while you want to give it to me. So I guess we're patting each other on the back, you know.
That's great. I don't really have it.
No.
Have any more to say on that.
Okay, now Saul, I wanted to get into something with you because I think you bring up a good subject that you probably don't even want to talk about, but a family member of yours was very concerned about the way you were treated in the past. Is there anything I can say or do, or maybe if whoever that was, your beloved family member, listens to this, maybe they might reconsider that?
Well, I won't mention their name.
No, I don't want you to.
Okay. Well, I think it was the fact that Ben was being kind of an idiot.
Oh, like when he would make like blind jokes?
Be honest here, okay?
No, that's fine. I only want you to be honest, Saul.
Like, the last time I called in to the SCP, I was like, hey, Ben, how are you? And he's like, great, I can see now.
Oh,
and
okay.
And then he gave this, his signature evil laugh and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then I talked about my grandma, and then he said, Taylor Swift, she's dead. And I'm like, oh, no.
Oh.
And then you were like, oh, well, I guess the drop machine is broken.
Okay.
It needs to be fixed.
All right. Yes, I do remember this. I remember this well. So and then your family member heard that exchange, and that was a problem.
Well, I forget if it was that one or a previous one, but he heard one of the exchanges, and he reached out to my mom and said, "Do you see what they're doing to Saul? I don't like this.
Oh boy.
Not good."
Okay. And all right. So did that finally come back to you too, Saul?
Yeah, I was informed, and Mom just said, that's what Garrett does.
Well, it was
people like that.
It was ball busting. It definitely was ball busting. I can't really I can't throw Ben under the bus on any of this because I was just as much responsible of all those things. But it was never, ever would we ever want anyone to be hurt. You still there? Saul?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. I thought I lost you. Jokes.
No, I'm here.
And you obviously took it with a grain of salt. But to a new person who doesn't know, someone who might be very protective of you, it stands to reason that person would want to defend you, I'm guessing.
Yeah. He never heard of you. He never heard of the show.
No.
And I didn't
Yeah.
your platform because I don't know how they're gonna take it. But
Yeah, I know it. Hey, let me ask you this, Saul. You're a very pious individual with your faith, and how does that line up when things when you listen to something? Because I have neighbors who are very religious who tell me to my face, I can't listen to you because some of your subject matter does not jive with me in my view of the world in from a religious standpoint. And I always say, well, that's okay. I don't mind. And I don't know why they tell me that, but they do. Do you have to sometimes balance that, being as religious as you are, Saul?
No, I don't really have to. I don't tune away unless it was extremely disgusting or whatever. But I don't. You know, I'm not very religious as it is.
Oh, really?
I mean, I go to synagogue, but I'm not like uber religious and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very religious and stuff like that.
Well, how does that work with your father? Because your father's the rabbi, isn't he not? Or is he not?
I mean, I haven't really talked to him about it.
Okay.
I just keep it to myself, you know. But
I see.
I go to synagogue. I lead services in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to be as religious as I can.
Sure. Saul, let me ask this. Can we ask you a question about your blindness? Is that okay, Saul?
Yeah, sure.
Saul, let me ask you this. You have no recollection of actually seeing anything, right? Because did you have sight upon being born?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, can you maybe describe something to me, or what colors mean to you? Does any of this, to me, I have a hard time being a person who can see, putting myself into your shoes and never seeing a visual of anything. You can feel shapes and things like that, but can you take us through what you experience?
Well, I don't see any colors. I don't see any light. I used to do a test where they, turn the light switch on and off at the doctor's office. Is the light on or light off? You know, and I used to wear contact lenses because they thought I could see. Right, Mom? I used to wear contact lenses and an eye patch. I used to wear an eye patch.
Oh my God. But even if they shine a light right into your eye, you couldn't even detect that?
No.
Wow. Man. Jeez. How do you enjoy the hockey games?
Well, I've played this before. I bring a radio, and I do this with all sporting events.
Yeah.
I bring a radio, and I just listen to the radio while the game is going on.
I see. Well, yeah. Of course. That makes sense.
But getting back to the blindness, I was born with ROP, which is retinopathy of prematurity.
Uh-huh.
And I was born, we were actually born triplets, but my sister passed when she was about 8 years old.
Aw.
Now it's just me and my brother. Actually, we have 2 sets of twins in our family, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. So me and my brother are 22, and then my younger brother and sister are 19, and nobody else is blind except me. Now, there are other people who are differently abled, like my younger brother is on the autistic spectrum, and my twin has some learning disabilities, but other than that,
Yeah.
I am the only one who is blind. And somebody asked me about my impairment and how I deal with that. I don't necessarily think blindness is an impairment. I think it's just something I live with that has some challenges, but also has some rewards.
Yeah, really?
I don't think it necessarily impairs me from doing anything in my life. I mean, I'm just a regular, normal person.
So tell me
impact on the community. So
yeah.
that's my answer.
Tell me what you mean about rewards.
Like rewards, like I don't know, like did I mean rewards? I meant rewards, like
Yeah, like positives.
That struggles but challenges. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily
Right.
reward. Maybe I should have phrased it differently.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I think I know what you mean. You've probably learned a lot. It's just that maybe things you wouldn't have learned involving the world if you hadn't been blind.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
Like maybe a reward is using the computer instead of having to write out with a pen. Or I don't know.
I got you. I got you.
I don't know.
All right, Saul. It's been a while since we've done a music review. Is there anything in the works? Should we plan on anything? Or, I mean, what's going on in your brain?
Yes, well, somebody suggested Panic at Disco recently, and they reminded me of that. So I'm trying to do a Panic at the Disco song, so that's in the works.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You let me know, Saul, and we will bust out Saul's 1-minute music reviews. They were always a huge hit.
Although I'm not sure that you can play music. I can play music off my laptop if we need to.
Well, I'll figure something out. You know, maybe we'll sneak one by the goalie on the podcast lawsuits, but which is remarkable. I kind of want to buy a license so that I can play all this music, but I don't know how expensive that would be.
Well, we'll figure something out. I suppose I have a few songs in the works. If you have any suggestions, I'm most active in the Daniel's Facebook group. Either if you're my friend, just send me a message or.
Well, anything that's popular, any song that's popular that a lot of people know, those are the best ones for you to review.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I say some Cardi B, who I love.
Oh, that's going to be great.
I freaking love Cardi B. She's like my favorite.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody that doesn't like her just doesn't like her because she's a chick. That's it. I think she's awesome.
The only reason I listen to rap music is to find out, like, which song it's sampling, because a lot of rap songs sample older music.
Still?
So,
Yeah, that still happens to this day.
yeah, so that's why I listen to
Right.
rap music to figure out what the sample is.
All right, Solomon, I'm going to cut this short, okay, buddy?
All right, hey, it was a pleasure being on, and we'll do it again sometime, all right?
You're killing it, man. Have a good week. Are you back to work and school tomorrow?
No, well, actually, Monday's my day off.
Okay.
But
Hey, it's gonna snow like hell.
yeah, I know. So they might cancel school anyway, but that's okay because
Yeah.
I don't have to go. But Tuesday, I'm back to work at school. So.
All right, Solomon. Have a good one.
Thanks, Eric.
Peace.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, buddy. See ya. The
Bye.
one and only Blind Saul. My God, I love that guy. So sweet. I want to play for you a story that I saw on the news. And my gosh, what you have here in Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, is the local mail carrier is apparently a big hothead and a jerk in some community. And the story goes, he's delivering the mail, and he's been known to be always losing his mind and his temper and yelling at people and just an overall cranky idiot. And there was a bad snowfall, and he had to drive up a hill, and he couldn't get his stupid truck up the hill. Of course, you've seen those mail trucks. They're garbage to begin with. Well, this idiot was revving the motor so much that he blew up a tire, and the concussion from the exploding tire somehow caused something to go haywire, and the mail truck blew up, and you can see it on someone's front door video, exploded and then rolled down the hill on fire like a disaster movie. And this guy lived, but listen to this. This is an incredible story.
They saw a mail truck explode and then roll down the street in flames.
It happened in a subdivision off Northeast Barry Road in the Northland, and neighbors tell Fox 4 after some past issues with this delivery driver,
Yeah.
they were not surprised.
We're not surprised he blew up his truck.
Caused the scene to happen. It was just insane.
Brian Riley still can't believe what he saw last night.
Oh!
Mail truck
Did you hear that?
into a flaming heap, and then stunned neighbors on North Marston Avenue watched helplessly as the
This thing goes careening down.
backwards down the street. Miraculously, the mail truck came to a stop on a neighbor's lawn
Yeah.
before hitting another car.
It's just burning on the guy's front lawn.
Extremely lucky that nobody got hurt, including himself.
Fire crews were on the scene in minutes,
There's a
extinguishing
fire.
a heap of burning metal, plastic, and whatever mail and packages were still inside. A full day later now, the aftermath is pretty clear from what happened. As you saw in the video, the mail truck rolled from about 3 driveways down, finally coming
God, I
to a
wish I
rest
could
in
have
the
been
front
there.
yard of this home, ironically, right in front of a fire hydrant.
Uh-huh. See how that is?
From inside the house where the truck ended up. Before the blast, Riley's Nest camera captured the mail truck spinning its wheels for 10 to 15 minutes in a seemingly futile climb up the icy hill.
This is Indian.
Beyond insanity, and you could just tell the way he was going that he was just getting more mad the whole time.
Everybody hates
Riley
this guy.
believes a blown tire sparked the explosion. A spokesperson for the Postal Service says the fire's under investigation and the driver's okay. Riley and his neighbors say they've registered complaints in the past with this mail carrier.
I don't think this surprised any of us at all.
Boy, they're
That's the
throwing...
one and only time I've ever actually seen our mailman get out of the vehicle.
Oh, yeah. They're
Now, the Postal
throwing this
Service
guy under the
says
bus.
Customers in that area will receive a letter addressing any concerns about mail that they may have lost. in
Okay,
this
thanks.
mess on
That's a real
Wednesday,
good part of the
and
story.
apologizes to customers for any inconvenience caused by this episode.
Oh, man. I like how that guy is like giving the mailman the business, saying, that's the first time I've ever seen him get out of this truck. So, you know, everybody hated that guy. They were actually happy that it happened. You would not believe this thing. It's just careening down the hill. Holy moly. I'll post that. I'll tell you that I'm going to post that to Facebook, and then I will forget to post that to Facebook. Post to Facebook. I'm writing it down right now so these people can see this stuff. My God, get with it, Eric. All right, now the fun does not end here. In fact, we're just getting started. There is plenty more to talk about on the Extra Pod. And first of all, before I get to that, I need to have a discussion with you people because I'm getting way too many people busting me about saying the pod, on the Extra Pod. You dummies. I heard some very prominent, hilarious people that are much younger than me who do this same thing refer to it as a pod. So you sitting there calling me old because I'm calling it the pod are way off the mark. Mark Norman and Joe List do a podcast once a week called Tuesdays with Stories. And Norman especially says, let's do a pod. It's time to get on the pod. All right, we had him on the pod. It's a thing, man. I'm not it's because I'm old, and that's what old people call podcasts. It's a shortening of it because it's slang. So shut up. I can call it a pod, and I will continue to. You won't break me of that habit. Shut up. The fun continues on the bonus pod for Patreon Tier 1 and Tier 2 members. Okay? In fact, when I recorded it before I did this one today. I do it backwards. It's crazy. All you have to do is at ericzaneshow.com, click where it says Patreon, and you get more Eric Zane Show. Every week I do 5 free podcasts. And I also do 5 bonus podcasts for the Patreon supporters. Patron members give me $5 or $10 a month for extra content. $10 gets videos and stuff like that. $5 gets just the extra audio. but it's so worth it because you're getting 5 extra pods per week for $5 or $10 a month. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's how I'm feeding the family right now. No joke. It was because of that huge wave of 400 of you that made me convinced that this is what I'm going to do to survive. We're at 420 right now, so it's definitely planed out. But I hope for at least 10 net every week. So please sign up at ericzaneshow.com to be a patron member of the Eric Zane Show, where you are taking charge and keeping this show afloat. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt, maybe a tumbler, ericzaneshow.com. We got all that merch up there, my God. And that's all there for you. That's it. I got nothing. New week has begun. Let's hope for a good one. You have a good start to your week. My God, be careful if it's snowy where you are. If not, all right, screw you too and your nice temperatures. Listen to me, I'm sounding like Bill Burr. Oh yeah, screw you and your nice temperatures. All right, thanks folks. Have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye 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 bye.